And there we go. Thank you, God, for everything. We're studying biblical word study, one word at a time, one verse at a time. And today we're doing black, mourn, sackcloth. So get ready to be depressed. I would say there's a whole bunch of words. Well, it's not a whole bunch, but this, the main ones for black are here. Is this, let me look at it here. Sakor. You could say shakor, sakor. And it's just the word for black, all right? And that is the, and it comes from this one here. It comes from 7835, shakar. That also means black. And we'll get into looking at some of these things from the theological word book of the Old Testament here. I'll put this up here because there's no room on the end over there. So that's that. Shakor, black. There's 6 verses for that one. There's one verse here. Job 30:30. My skin is black upon me and my bones are burned with heat. And he was in a lot of sackcloth and ash too, this Job. So that's Shakar. And then there's one verse here in the Song of Solomon. Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me. So I guess you got a nice tan there, yeah? My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but mine own vineyard have I not kept. And that black is Shekakoreth. Shekakoreth. That's one word, black. And then Lamentations 4:8. Their visage is blacker than a coal. You got 2 words here. You got blacker than a coal. And we'll get into this one here. This koshek. That's for the word for dark. And this is all related, black, dark, gloominess, mourning, sackcloth, and all that. We're going to get into that hopefully later. So their visage is blacker than a coal. And this word coal is shekor. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth through their bones. It is withered. It has become like a stick. And these are all negative connotations for this color and this feeling and what's happening to Israel at the time. The Lamentations is after they were taken away. Jeremiah talks about it. And then this Ecclesiastes 11:10, therefore remove sorrow from thy heart and put away evil from thy flesh, for childhood and youth are vanity. And it took a while for me to find this. Shakaruth, youth. Why did he put youth there? I don't know. Childhood and blackness of hair, including the youth. So I guess when they say youth, they're talking about the dark hair, whereas if you were talking about an old person, it would be the hoary head or the white head. And I forget the name for Kor is something. I forget it. Anyway, so you got the childhood and the black hair or vanity. So, and that's the words for this. For one word for black, and it's not much here. You can see that we just went through all the verses here, and there was a lot of good verses that have to do with black. And so I did a contrast between black and white. So we can also look up white here somewhere. White is, where is it? There we go, white. I'll look at that real quick because I did a contrast on it, on the colors. And this white here in the Old Testament, Laban or Laban, and there's 29 times there, and that's an adjective. It's describes something, so it's an adjective. And this Laban here is the noun, and it means to make white or to make brick to be white. And that's 38:35. I didn't put them up here. Let me put these up here. 38:35. There's 8 verses that have to do with that. making the brick, making brick in Exodus 5 and Genesis 11. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. So you'll see the contrast between the white and the black in here. And we'll get into some of these verses. I got a bunch of verses lined up having to do with black and white, so we'll look at that later. So those are the Old Testament words for white, Laban, and then the New Testament here is leukos, or leukos means light, white, light, brilliant. Theological Dictionary 241. I didn't pull it down, did I? I don't think I think I have it down there. And light, brilliant, white, and that's leuco. And this other one is leukos, which is white. That's 3022. The other one is 3021. 3022 and 3021. Let me get this out of here. All right. And his raiment became shining, exceeding white as snow fuller on earth can white them. I remember when I was a kid, the Fuller Brush Man used to come to the house and sell us things in his valise. He was called the Fuller Brush Man. And then Revelation 7:14, and I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. So there you go with the red and the white, with the blood of the Lamb. So that's a little bit on white. And you got 20 some odd verses here with the word white. And most of it is a positive thing, and we'll leave that there. And we'll get back to this. Here's some verses that have the juxtaposition here between white and black. That would be one, and then there's two. Yeah, all right, let me look at this here. And I mean, we could just read a bunch of verses here. I don't think I can go through all of them. I can, but this is just to give you some juxtaposition between the white and the black. So Job 3:5, let darkness and the shadow of death stain it. Let a cloud dwell upon it. Let the blackness of the day terrify it. And I think he's talking about the day he was born here, because of all the stuff that happened to him, and he was depressed, and he's mourning, and he's in sackcloth and ashes, and he's on the floor, and he's making himself bald, and all the things that God told you not to do. Don't cut yourself, don't make yourself bald, and he did all these things anyway. So let darkness over here. You're gonna mess with me now, huh? All right. Let darkness, and there's that Kosek. We'll look at that too. TWOT 769. We'll get into that a little bit. Let darkness and the shadow of death. I like that word. That's Salmaveth. Sal is shadow, and death is Maveth. Salmaveth. And there's 18 verses with shadow of death. We went through them a while back. And the shadow of death, stain it. I didn't look up stain. Gaal. Oh, that's interesting. Redeem. To redeem. Gaal. Let the shadow of death stain it. Let a cloud, something else that causes shadow, Anana. Oh, Anona. Cloud, one time in the Bible. Look at that, 1655. And this is Anan, which means cloud or cloudy. TWOT 1655. And Anan, observer of times or a soothsayer. 1656 is observer of times. 1655 is cloud, cloudy. Now you can look that up anytime you want. But and let the blackness. I have this also on my list. The blackness of the day terrify it. Let me put this over here. Blackness is Kimrir. Kimrir, that's on my list. And what number is it? 3650. 650. That's number. Come on, man. Yeah, okay. I didn't put it down there, but it's there. Blackness, 3648 from Kamar. And I believe the TWOT is 994 for this one. Darkness, gloomy. We just read that in Job 3:5. That's it. That's the one time that is in the Bible there. And then the other one is 95. TWOT 95. All right. I'll put that on the side. Okay, so one verse, we just spent 5 minutes on one verse. So, like I said, we can't read all of these. and Job 10:20, are not my days few? Cease then and let me alone. So he's depressed. He's his family was killed, all of his cattle, everything was killed. His house was broken down, and his friends are sitting around telling him he's no good, and this is why God's punishing you. Are not my days few? Cease then and let me alone, that I may take comfort a little before I go whence I shall not return. So he's looking forward to dying over here, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death. And we looked at these words already. A land of darkness, as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, without any order, where the light is as darkness. And I got a couple of verses on that, where the light is as darkness. We saw that in, I think it was Matthew 6:23. He talks about, be careful that the light that is in you is not darkness. So how can light be darkness? So when we're talking about light and darkness, we're not talking about, night and day, turning on the switch and that. We're talking about, good and evil and things like that. So these words real quick. Gosh, in the land of darkness, Koshed, the shadow of death, right? Darkness, 5890. Well, do I have this on my list here? 5890. Maybe I looked at it real quick. What's 5890? Darkness. Okay. A four comes from oof, means to fly or to fly about. And this is TWOT 1583. Dark, be dark, gloomy, gloomy darkness. All right. I can put that on the list. But there it is right there. If you want to look at TWOT 1583. And also means to fly or to flee away. Darkness. Okay. And also the darkness and the shadow of death there. And then we got Job 30:26. He's still depressed. He says, when I looked for good, then evil came unto me. And when I waited for light, there came darkness. So he's light is good, darkness is evil. We got the 652. I got this on my list, I think. Yeah, I got 653 and 651. So this 652 I passed over. And this would be Ophel. It comes from 651. And I also have 653. Let me look at 653 real quick here. I'm jumping around a little bit here. And that's thick darkness. So we'll put that up here. So we got, let's do where's the verb? There's got to be a verb here somewhere. This is an adjective. This is a masculine noun. And this is a feminine noun. All right, so Ophel is very dark. It's one time in the Bible, 651. We'll look it up real quick here. Amos 5:20. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light? Even very dark and no brightness in it. There's your contrast right there between the light and the dark. Be darkness, koshek, and not light. And that's the or. And very dark. So very dark is Ophel, and no brightness to it at all. No brightness, no ga. No brightness. Amos 5:20. And that was 651. And then you got 652 is darkness, obscurity, doom, gloom. 652, look at it real quick. 52, look at it real quick here. All right. As for that night, let darkness seize upon it. All right. We just saw Job 3:5. Now it's Job 3:6. He talks about let darkness seize upon it. Let it not be joined unto the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of months. The day I was born, I don't even want to hear about it. You know, a land of darkness, as darkness itself, and the shadow of death without any order with light is darkness. That's Job 10:22. We read that. Job 23. So all of these are in Job here, and he's talking about his darkness and his gloominess and his mourning, because I was not cut off before the darkness. So he's angry that he didn't die in before he was born. Because I was not cut off before the darkness. Neither hath he covered the darkness from my face. So you got two words for darkness in here. One's the regular word for darkness, which is koshek, and this darkness here is another one. This is ophel, obscurity. Job 23:17, and then 28:3. He setteth an end to darkness, and searcheth out all perfection, the stones of darkness and the shadow of death. Psalm of Death. 28:3. When I looked for good, then evil came unto me. When I waited for light, there came darkness. 30:26. That's the one we're looking at right now. And then 11:2. Psalms 11:2. For lo, the wicked bend their bow; they make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may privily shoot at the upright of heart. So the word privily here, they have for darkness. For this ophel, they put privily. Why? I don't know. That's why we don't look at the English. Psalms 91:6, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. These are all great. This is good prose here. Walking in darkness and destruction that wasteth at noonday. Isaiah 29:18, and in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of kosek, darkness. Kosek, yeah. All right. And then this 6:53, let's look at it real quick. There's 10 verses here. 6:53. And this is talking about Moses stretching forth his hand. There was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. And that's a darkness that could be felt. And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in the darkness. Ephalah. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. Thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore. No man shall save thee. That's Deuteronomy 28. We're talking about the cursing and the blessing. And he'll do that if you don't listen, if you don't obey him. The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble. Proverbs 7:9. In the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. Well, you can get depressed reading all of these things. Right? The way of the wicked is in the twilight, neshef, twilight. The evening twilight. You got morning twilight and evening twilight. Just before it's just about to get dark, or just before it's just about to get bright. Twilight. Nashaf means blow. 1434. A kind of foul. And then Isaiah 8:22. And they shall look unto the earth and behold trouble, darkness, dimness of anguish, and they shall be driven to darkness. Isaiah 8:22. 58:10. And if thou draw out thy soul to hungry and satisfy the afflicted soul, then shall thy light rise in obscurity, and thy darkness be as the noonday. So here we go with your light being darkness. Light shall rise in obscurity. So your light, your or, shall rise in koshek. Why didn't they just put darkness there instead of putting obscurity? I don't know. Kosek. So your light shall rise in obscurity and darkness. That's noonday. And 59:9. Isaiah, therefore is judgment far from us, neither doth justice overtake us. We wait for light, but behold obscurity. And let's guess what that word is. We wait for light, but behold darkness. Why don't they just put darkness in there? I don't know. Obscurity. For brightness, but we walk in darkness. So you got two words for darkness here. You got obscurity, koshek, and you got darkness, afala. They could have put obscurity here too. I don't know why they do this, these translators. Wherefore their way shall be unto them as slippery ways in the darkness. They shall be driven on and fall therein. For I will bring evil upon them, even the year of their visitation, saith the Lord. In the year of your visitation, that's the day you die. Jeremiah 23 is talking about the destruction of Judah by Babylon. And Joel, of course, talking about a day of darkness and gloominess. So you got the two words there, koshek and afel, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, 60:51, and 60:51 is clouds. That's anan, yes. And then darkness, arafel. So you got both of them here. You got the masculine noun. Oh, that's different. This is the 62:01, thick darkness. Yes. As the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after, even the years of many generations. And Joel's talking about the day, the last day too. And Zephaniah, that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. We just got both of these words here again. Anan, cloud, and darkness. Arafel. All of these are wrath, Ibra, trouble, Sarah, distress, Metzukah, wasteness. I tell you, you get depressed reading all this stuff, but this is going to happen if we don't change our ways here. Zephaniah. And that was just that one word we did. We took it. It's masculine, feminine, and adjective verses. And then 107, Psalms 107:10. Such as sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, being bound in affliction and iron, because they rebelled. There you go. There's your reason why. Because they rebelled against the words of God and contemned the counsel of the Most High. What's contemned? Na'ats, despise, provoke, to spurn. That's what happens. And when you rebel, when you marah, rebellious, it's the same thing. That's what happened. You'll be in darkness. You won't be able to see. You'll be stumbling around. Psalms 143:3. For the enemy hath persecuted my soul. He hath smitten my life down to the ground. He hath made me to dwell in darkness as those that have been long dead. This is a new one on me. This darkness here is, okay, it's the mashaks. A lot of times they have, koshek, kashak, kishak, and then you'll have an M, a mashak, darkness. And that's TWOT 769. We could read all of that, but as you can see, there's 5 different words for darkness: the verb, the noun, the feminine noun, the masculine noun, and this here is masculine noun, darkness, dark places. 4285. We can mess around with this here. Let me see any good verses in here. He gave respect unto the covenant for the dark places of the earth, full of the inhabitants of cruelty. Oh, we're getting negative here, huh? Thou hast laid me in the lowest pit, in darkness, in the deeps. Woo! Lover and friend hast thou put far from me, and mine acquaintance into darkness. For the enemy hath persecuted my soul. This is the one we're reading now. He hath smitten my life down to the ground. He hath made me to dwell in darkness, as those that have been long dead. Isaiah 29. And 15, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? Yeah, turn out the light. Isaiah 42:16, I will bring the blind by the way that they know not. I will lead them in paths that they have not known. I will make darkness light before them. That's great. I should put that on my list. Where is it? Darkness light. Is it on my list? I have light is darkness. I'll show you these verses. Darkness. Let me write it down here. Light. HT. And that's Isaiah 29:15. I'll show you these verses. I got a bunch of them. 42:16. And I will bring the blind by the way that they know not. I will lead them in paths. We just read that. These things will I do unto them and not forsake them. That's good. There's hope right there. And Lamentations, we know what Lamentations is. He hath set me in dark places, as they that be dead of old. We just read that. That's okay. So that's that one word there, part of this TWOT 769. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff here on darkness. All right, so if you want to read all that, you get to TWOT 769 and look it up if you have the book. If you don't, let me know. I'll get it for you. It's cheap. Let me see. And like I said, we could spend the whole night just on this page here. Isaiah 5:30. And in that day they shall roar against them like a roaring of the sea. And if one look unto the land, behold, darkness and sorrow, and the light is darkened in the heavens thereof. How can the light be darkened? The light shall be dark. I got to draw it. The light shall be dark. The light is darkened. I'm going to write that one down too. The light is darkened. K-E-N-E-D, E-N-E-D. And that is Isaiah 5:30. 5:30. Just keep running into verse after verse. And they shall look unto the earth and behold trouble and darkness, dimness of anguish, and they shall be driven to darkness. Ooh. There's this 28:25. I think there's one or two verses for this 28:25. Oh no, there's more. Okay, there's 5 verses. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. I thought that was the same thing that happened to Adam when God put him to sleep. Let me see something here. In Genesis 2:21, and the Lord caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and he closed up the flesh instead thereof. So that's something there. But there was no horror of great darkness when he did it to Adam. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. Psalms 82:5. And we're just plucking these out of context, so you'd have to go in and see what this is all about, who he's talking about. 39:12. Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike unto thee. Whew, that's it. That tells you a lot right there. The darkness and the light are both alike unto thee. Alike to thee. And then 8:22 Isaiah, and they shall look unto the earth and behold trouble and darkness. We saw that already. Isaiah 50:10. Who is among you that feareth the Lord, that obeyeth the voice of his servant, that walketh in darkness and hath no light? Let him trust in the name of the Lord and stay upon his God. Text here. Who is among you? Behold, the Lord will help me. Who is he that shall condemn me? Lo, they all shall wax old as a garment, the moth shall eat them up. Who is among you that feareth the Lord, that obeyeth the voice of his servant, that walketh in darkness and hath no light? Why would they put that in there? Let him trust in the name of the Lord and stay upon his God. Behold, all ye that kindle a fire, that compass yourselves about with sparks, walk in the light of your fire and in the sparks that ye have kindled. This shall ye have of mine hand, you shall lie down in sorrow. So I'm thinking this might be a positive thing, but it's not. That walketh in darkness and hath no light. So this reminds me of the tongue, the fire that comes from the tongue. Behold, all ye that kindle the fire, that compass yourselves about with sparks, walk in the light of your fire, and in the sparks that you have kindled. This shall you have of mine hand, you shall lie down in sorrow. Ooh, stop with them sparks, man. Isaiah 9:19. Through the wrath of the Lord of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as fuel of the fire. No man shall spare his brother. So this darkened here is 62:72. Is one time in the Bible. Atham or tham, to be burned up, be scorched. Meaning is dubious, whatever that means. 1720 only occurs in 918. Will be scorched. All right. The wrath of the Lord of hosts is the land darkened, so it could be scorched. All right. 24:11. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. No more joy. The mirth of the land, the joy, the mirth, the masos, it's gone. It's darkened, man. Everything's darkened. Arab. I don't think I looked at this. Arab, 6150. Arab. Day, time, the Philistines drew near the morning and evening. So it just means evening, darkened. And when the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine and his servant, his father-in-law, the damsel's father, and said to them, behold, the day draweth toward evening. I pray you, tarry a night. So he wanted them to sit around and waste the time. And go tomorrow. And he kept on saying, go tomorrow, go tomorrow, go tomorrow. Okay. I clothe the heavens with blackness, and I make sackcloth their covering. I'm going to get into sackcloth a little bit here. And this is blackness. We keep on running into these verses that are one time in the Bible, these words. Kadruth. This is on my list for the morning. Okay, Kadar, 6937. It's also TWOT 1989. It's on my list. We'll get into this if we ever get through these verses that have to do with black and dark and night. Kadruth, 6940. I got 1989. Let me see my list there. I got 6937 and 6941. Okay, let me put 6940 here. 6940. And what's 41? Oh, 6941. That's one time. Okay. You have said it is vain to serve God, and what profit is it that we have kept his ordinance, that we have walked mournfully before the Lord of hosts. So all of these things are like synonymous: mourning, blackness, sackcloth, and this is mournfully. This is Kedoranith, mournfully, and it's all in this TWOT 1989. Well, hopefully we'll get into this. There's a lot of verses for mourning, as you know, and this little ditty right here, we can read that a little later. Darkness, gloom, dark, mourners, and I looked up a little bit on mourners, and there's some interesting stuff here. We get into it tonight. If not, you got some other time. And there's the sackcloth. So you got the Greek and the Hebrew here. So you got sack. and that comes from shakak, which means to run to and fro. How they got sack out of there, I don't know, to rush back and forth. Appetite just went 2460. This is 2282. Sackcloth. I want to get into this right now, but this is what we'd have to get into talking about sackcloth, and that's a full study for a whole another day there. But the Greek one here, sackcloth. This is TDNT 756. I got that book out too. So it's actually a Hebrew word, but they just Hellenized it and made it sackos, sackcloth. Receptacle for holding various things. You know about the sack, right? And then it's actually a coarse cloth, a dark, coarse stuff made especially from the hair of animals, and like John was clothed in a garment of like material, clinging to the person like a sack, which was wont to be worn or drawn over the tunic instead of the cloak or the mantle by mourners, penitents, suppliants, and also by those who, like the Hebrew prophets, led an austere life, like John wearing his camel hair and all that stuff. That's sackcloth. We can get into that too a little later if we got it, but that's a little taste there for that sackcloth and the mourners. And then and Joel, of course, this second chapter of Joel talks about the end here, before the face of the people shall be much pained, all faces shall gather blackness. And that blackness is parur. Whoa, that's new to me. I didn't get that on my list. Let me write it down. 6289, TWOT 1727, comes from 6286. Which is para, which means to glorify, to beautify. That's strange. And that's TWT 1626. Come on. Give me a hard time here. Glorify, turban, OTK, turban, and then beauty. That's para. So the 1727 is the one with the blackness. Glow. Bow over the bows. I don't know where they get blackness from here. So there's parur, glow, heat. Another one with dubious meaning. Okay, so that's probably why I didn't write it down. Okay, and then but he's talking about they shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Talking about the people that are coming in to destroy. Neither shall one thrust another, they shall walk every one in his path. So they got a single-minded, and they're going on, they're going to destroy. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run to and fro in the city, they shall run upon the wall, they shall climb up upon the houses, they shall enter in at the windows like a thief. So this is what happens. And then the earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And we know this is metaphorical language. And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong that executed his word for the day of the Lord. And that's what it's talking about. The day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? So it's going to be dark. The sun and the moon shall be dark. Kadar. And that's mourning. To mourn, to be dark. So there'll be no truth. And the stars shall withdraw their shining. What are the stars? We know that. Those are the angels. When the stars fall from heaven, that's the angels and their voices and their trumpets. This is all metaphorical language about the end of time there. And Joel 3 also, he gets into some gloomy stuff. Multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. And we know what that is. Jezreel, Armageddon, there's so many different words for it. Hadad Rimon, all of those words that we looked at for the day, the place where the Armageddon, where the battle will take place at the end of time. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. So here he goes. That's what he's talking about in both of them chapters. Amos 5:8, seek him that maketh the 7 stars in Orion, that turneth the shadow of death, some of it, into the morning. He maketh the day dark with night, that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. The Lord is his name. So he can do all of that. He did the flood already. He can call the day dark. Make it the day dark with night. So we know it's not, doesn't have to do with the light of being on and off. It has to do with good and evil. Nahum 2:10, she is empty and void and waste, and the heart melteth, and the knees smite together, and much pain in all loins, and the faces of them all gather blackness. And that's the Parur. 2 times. We just read both of them. Parur and Zephaniah 1:14 and 15. The great day of the Lord. And there's the end of time. It is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation. You want to get depressed, look up all these verses. A day of darkness and gloominess. There's those 2 words, koshek and Arafel. Afalah. A day of clouds, anan, and thick darkness. Arafel. Got all the words in there. Boy. And then we'll get into the New Testament here. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness, and there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I looked up black in the New Testament. That's a different word for this. This is darkness. This is skotos. Skotos, darkness. 32 times. I can't go through all of them now. And that skia is the shadow. That's the skia. But the word for black in the Old Testament, I think I gave in the New Testament, B-L-A-C-K. In the New Testament, I could just give you the number here. It is, come on now, 3189 melas. Looks like you get cancer in the skin and melanoma. This is melas, black. 3189, and we have 3 or 4 verses. Melas, neither shalt thou swear by thy head, because thou canst make one hair white or black. And then Revelation 6:5, and when he opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd beast say, come and see, and I beheld, lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hands. And there's 6:12, and I beheld when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair. And then there's that sackcloth again, and the moon became as blood. So this is the one, there's no truth. It's taken out. And that's melas, real quick. And then weeping and gnashing of teeth, and when you cast into outer darkness, 46 outer darkness, that's the exoteros, outer darkness, and there'll be gnashing of teeth. People are going to be angry because God's going to throw them in hell, and they'll be angry with God, and that's the gnashing of teeth. And then said the king to the servants, bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And this is the unprofitable servant. What happens to him? He goes into outer darkness, and there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And 2 Peter 2:4, if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them. Hell is Tataruo. That's cast down to hell, the deepest abyss of hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved. So you got Zophos, you got Skotos and Zophos, the two words with blackness and darkness. Zophos, and Nephos is a cloud, or Nephos is a cloud. The blackness reserved to be reserved unto judgment. And these are also the vessels of wrath in Jude 13, raging waves of the sea, foaming out their own shame, wandering stars, to whom is reserved, Tereo, the blackness of darkness forever. So you got the two words here. You got Zophos, Skotos, blackness of darkness forever. And 16 and 10, the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness. 46:56, Skotuo, one time in the Bible, Skotuo. And they gnawed their tongues for the pain. That's all the negative black stuff. And this is the positive side here. This would be the white side. This is just 28 verses here. Probably not going to get to all the stuff I wanted to get to, but I'm enjoying these verses here because I actually didn't read them the first time I'm reading them here with you. But we've seen these before. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. I don't know if I want to get into the positive aspects. I still want to go down into this mourning and sackcloth and gloominess. But I guess we could go with a little brightness here, kind of perk us up. But there's just so many different words here that I wanted to get into for mourning and sackcloth. But we'll just do a little change of direction here. I shall be clean, wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. The whiter than, that's Laban, make them white, and snow, shaleg, snow, snowy, shaleg, and shalag, snow, 2391, to snow. All right. Come now and let us reason together, saith the Lord. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. So there's your red and your white again. Exodus 4:6. And the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom. And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. So this is one of the miracles that Moses did. And then this Psalms 68:15, talking about snow. All right, okay. Ecclesiastes 9:8, let thy garments be always white, and let thy head lack no ointment. Isaiah 1:18, come now, let us reason together, saith the Lord. Though your sins be scarlet, we just read that, they shall be white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. So you're making your garments white with the blood. And I beheld till thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow. 23:58. That's Aramaic, okay. Kivar. And it comes from kava, which is the Hebrew. It means wax pale, to be white, to grow white. 6:30, white, pale, white stuff. Isaiah 29, that's wax pale, okay. White bread or cake, okay, there's white. And the hair of his head like pure wool. He's thrown like a fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. Look at all them colors there. You got the yellow, you got the fiery flame, the red, and you got the white as snow, and hair of his head. So he's an old man. The Ancient of Days. And some of them understanding shall fall to try them and to purge them and to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for an appointed time. Yeah, this is all getting into these other things here. Okay. And then it's talking about the white countenance is lightning and white. And I'm going to pass on this, but this is all good stuff here. Talking about the lightning and the white and the raiment and the shining, exceeding white, candlesticks, clothing, a garment, golden girdle, all this good positive stuff here. In the midst of the seven candlesticks, one like the Son of Man, clothed with the garment down to his foot and girded about with the paps with the golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. These are all the pictures you get of something that we're not supposed to be picturing, and that's God. We don't know what he looks like, but in God's vision, this is how he portrayed him, because you had to put it into words somehow, and this is what he saw. And it's all figurative, metaphorical language for pictures of God, because we don't know what he looks like. The white stone, walking me in the white, for they are worthy, putting on the white garments. He that overcomes shall be clothed in white raiment. All tried at the fire. All right. So, and all the Revelation verses about white and clean and all that good stuff. And we can get into that, but I wanted to stay with this other stuff here. So this is the mourning aspect here. Let me see if I got any more of this here. Let me do this here. That's the black. We did that. And this is the sackcloth. We looked a little bit at that, but I can read. And this is darkness. We looked at that a little bit. Here are these verses that have to do with light being darkness, darkness being light, and there's a bunch of them. I got the light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candles shall be put out with him. Job's 18:6, and Isaiah 5:30. And that day they shall roar against them like the roaring of the sea. And if one look unto the Lamb, behold, darkness and sorrow, and the light is darkened in the heavens thereof. And then Psalms 139:12. Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to thee. And of course, Matthew 6:23, but if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. And if therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? That verse right there should tell you that it has nothing to do with bright, white, and black, dark, and that has to do with good and evil. And Job 10:22, a land of darkness as darkness itself, and as the shadow of death without any order, and where the light is as darkness. And what's the other one? 5:30, 29:15 we looked at, I think it was. 29:15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. Okay. No, there was something else there. 29:15. I guess these are all great verses. I love them. Darkness is light. How can darkness be light? How can light be darkness? And then there's the white, yearned, and then mourn. There's a bunch of verses for mourn. There's 44 verses here for mourn. And I took a lot of the verses here, but this one here seems to be the one that stuck out to me. To be dark, to mourn, darkness, mourners, and it's TWOT 1989, and Malachi 3:14 says, you have said it is vain to serve God. And what profit is it that we have kept his ordinance, and that we have walked mournfully before the Lord of hosts? Walked mournfully. What good is it? And this word is keteranith, to walk mournfully. What good is it? Translate this verb similarly, except in Jeremiah 14 and 12, 14 and 2. Let me see. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. And this mourneth. Oh, that's the 56. Yeah, I got this too on my list. 56. I got a bunch of these. 56 is it? 56. I think it is 56. 56. That's mourned. And that's TWOT6. Let me see if I got this here. I'm pretty sure I do. I guess not. I thought I had it here. Well, I got it now. So we'll put this over here. And it's TWOT6. So we can look at that too while we're looking at this one here first. All right. Judah mourneth. And Job 30 and 28, I went mourning without the sun. You talk. This is blackness, black, dark, sackcloth. I stood up and I cried in the congregation. And that's the mourning here. So I don't know why they stuck this mourning here. This mourning mourneth. 69:37 is black. So they got the word mourn here, and this word mourn is the word for black also, kadar. That's why that's in there. So Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black. They mourn onto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. That's good. In both cases, the context supports this. The root denotes blackness, the absence of light, and that's Jeremiah 4:28. For this shall the earth mourn, and the heavens above be black, because I have spoken it, I have purposed it. I will not repent, neither will I turn back from it. It's going to happen, and it did. The earth shall mourn. So these go together. Abal and TWOT6, we'll look at that. And the heavens above should be black. And they put the word black here, and it actually means to mourn. That's good. I like that. Absence of light, as well as the preparations surrounding mourning rites, occurs 19 times. Compare the more hashak, that's the koshek that we looked at, which is restricted to blackness, as darkness. Hakacha, growing dim. Arab, become evening. We looked at that. Other roots relating to mourning are da'ab and ana, abaka, safad. We're going to look at all these observing mourning rites in general. And these are all the words, Hebrew words, for mourning and observing mourning rites in general. And the root is used in context of judgment, where the heavens and the heavenly bodies are to be blackened. We read that in Jeremiah 4:28. There is clearly an overtone of mourning in such contexts. Hence, the great and terrible day of the Lord is associated with mourning by the heavenly bodies. We read that in Joel 2:10. This day, in turn, is directly connected with the eschaton, and that's the eschatology, that's the last day, and is the blackening of the heavenly bodies in Joel 3:15, where the moon turns to blood and the sun refuses, doesn't give its light, so which means there's no truth anymore in the world. And we're in there now. TDNT 7, 4:27. TDNT 7, 4:27. I got 4:27. And this is, oh, that's skotos. Okay, yeah, I didn't look that up, but the word in the Old Testament, skotos. Yeah, you'll have to look that up. A darkness denotes the whole range of what is harmful or evil. Our root connects darkness and sorrow, a connection not limited to the ancient Near East. Konzelman says this passage here is, it is no longer meant figuratively, but literally. For eschatological darkening, see Isaiah 13:10. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. Same thing in Joel. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. The moon has no light. The moon gets its light from the sun. And then Joel 2:30, we read, the heavens, the wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord. Shall not give their light, the sun shall be darkened, Kosek, and the moon shall not cause a light to shine. All right, good. And then 3:15 we read, Acts 2:20, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and notable day of the Lord. How many times do we have to read that? It's all over the Bible. Shout to skotos. Moon to blood. That's Haima. Okay. And then Zephaniah, same thing. Zephaniah 1:15. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. And in Revelation, of course, we talk about the sixth seal, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And 6:17, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? I don't know. And 8:12, and the fourth angel sounded, and a third part of the sun was smitten, and a third part of the moon, and a third part of the stars. So as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone for not a third part of it, and the night likewise. So this is the, what do you call it? The trumpets, I believe. One of them is a third part of the destruction, and another one is the 1/4, a fourth part. And you'll see that the trumpets and not the vials, the trumpets and the seals and the trumpets. Those are sounded when they open the seals. When they sound the trumpets, one's a third part and one's a quarter part. And then when those are ignored, which they are being ignored, we ignore the seals, we ignore the trumpets, and then the vials come, and the vials are for no repentance, and there's no looking back, and that's when everything gets destroyed. Okay, but in spite of its threatening aspect, darkness is only a penultimate entity with God. I looked that up once. I forgot what it means. Penultimate. In the midst of oppression, David confesses that he is mourning. In other words, that in an objective, noticeable sense, he was dirty, unattended, and in mourning attire. Jeremiah goes to such lengths of mourning over his people in view of the encroaching judgment. He knows it's coming. God's telling him it's coming. For the hurt of the daughter of my people, I am hurt. I am black. Astonishment has taken hold of me. I am black. I am mourning. Kadar. Astonishment has taken hold of me. Job 5:11 seems to attest the DR interchange, whatever that means. To set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. All right. Although affliction cometh not forth of the dust, neither does trouble spring out of the ground. Yet man is born unto trouble as the sparks fly upward. There we go with sparks again. I would seek unto God, and unto God would I commit my cause, which doeth great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number. who giveth rain upon the earth, and sendeth waters upon the fields, to set up on high those that be low, to those that which mourn may be exalted to safety. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime, and they grope in the noonday as in the night. But he saveth the poor from the sword, from their mouth, from the hand of the mighty. So the poor hath hope, and iniquity stoppeth her mouth. So we don't have to worry about who's ruling this world. They're all going to come to naught. All the craftiness that they build snares and they fall in them themselves. So I ain't worried about it. Who cares who's running the world? So that was this word here, and we covered a lot of it. But I want to get to this other one here, the 56. This is mourn and lament. There's 30 some odd verses here. Abal describes mourning rites for the dead, though often in its 39 occurrences is used figuratively. The land mourneth, Isaiah 24:4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. Some propose a separate meaning to dry up. Jeremiah 12:4. How long shall the land mourn, and the herbs of the field wither for the wickedness of them that dwell therein? The beasts are consumed, and the birds, because they said, he shall not see our last end. Sure he will. Jeremiah 23:10. For the land is full of adulterers, for because of swearing the land mourneth. The pleasant places of the wilderness are dried up, and their course is evil, and their force is not right. You're reading the history book today, man. This is happening on the news every night. Amos 1:12, and he said, the Lord will roar from Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the inhabitants of the shepherds shall mourn, and the top of Carmel shall wither. Right? Mourning is contextually preferable. All right. You got biblical mourning for the dead, expressed by Abal, Safad, etc., involved emotion, usually expressed audibly. And I was reading a whole bunch of stuff on these people that they hire to be mourners, and they're really good, man. They're like actors. Therefore, thus saith the Lord concerning Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, they shall not lament for him. So there'll be nobody, they're not going to hire anybody to scream and wail for him. They shall not lament for him, saying, my brother, sister. They shall not lament for him, saying, Lord. And these are the people that they hired to do all of this. And there'll be nobody lamenting for Jehoiakim. He was evil. And Jeremiah 48:36. Therefore mine heart shall sound for Moab like pipes, and mine heart shall sound like pipes for the men of Kir, because the riches that he had gotten perished. So there's going to be lamenting and singing for that. I'm just looking if that's the right word. Jeremiah 48:36. 48. I want to stuck that in there. All right. But that sounds like mourning, singing and piping, and visibly. And they went about and they did this, and Jacob rent his clothes. He put sackcloth upon his loins, and he mourned for his sons many days. And this part of the mourning process, sackcloth, we saw that, and he mourned many days for his son. That his brothers sold into slavery. His father thought he was, imagine that, telling your father that your son is dead. I behaved myself as though he had been my friend or brother. I bowed down heavily as one that mourneth for his mother. Psalms 35:14. I don't know what he's talking about there. And Micah 1:8. Therefore I will wail and howl. I will go stripped and naked. I will make a wailing like the dragons and mourning as the owls. And that's what they did, these guys. They're professional mourners. Tear their clothes, rend their clothes, sackcloth, and they'd beaten their breasts, shaving their head. Some people even cut themselves. And there's wailing and weeping, and they were professional mourners, and they did that, especially for the deceased of important leaders. Professional mourning woman could be hired, and you'll see this in Jeremiah 9. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider ye and call for the mourning woman that they may come, and send for a cunning woman that they may come. And Ecclesiastes 12:5. Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fears shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. So it's talking about getting old and dying, and the mourners will go about the streets. And there. The emotion could be merely simulated when they're faking it, I guess. What's this? He says, and Joab sent to Tekoa and fetched thence a wise woman and said unto her, I pray thee, feign thyself to be a mourner, and put on now mourning apparel, and anoint not thyself with oil, but be as a woman that had a long time mourned for the dead. So he sent her to David to make believe that she was mourning, and she was probably a professional mourner, you know. Feign myself a mourner, Matthew 11:17, and saying, we have piped unto you and you have not danced, we have mourned unto you and you have not lamented. This is in Matthew 11:17. But whereunto shall I liken this generation? It is like unto children sitting in the markets and calling unto their fellows and saying, we have piped unto you and you have not danced. We have mourned unto you and you have not lamented. For John came neither eating nor drinking, and you say that he has a devil. And the Son of Man came eating and drinking, and you said, behold, the gluttonous man. So make up your mind. You know, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. They called John, because he didn't eat and drink, I called him a devil, and the Son of Man comes and he's inviting everybody to eat and going to people's houses to eat, and they call him a gluttonous man. So yet the Old Testament forbade such pagan exhibitions as tearing one's hair and flesh for the dead, and you'll see that in Leviticus 19. Don't cut yourself. You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord. You shall not make baldness upon your head, neither shall you shave the corners of your beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh. And that's what the pagans did. They would rip their clothes, shave their head, cut themselves. But see, Jeremiah, both the great and the small shall die in this land. They shall not be buried, neither shall men lament for them, nor cut themselves, nor make themselves bald for them. And 41:5, he says, that there came certain from Shechem, from Shiloh, and from Samaria, even 80 men, having their beards shaven and their clothes rent, and having cut themselves with offerings and incense in their hands to bring them to the house of the Lord. And it was a pagan thing to do, but they thought they were doing okay. For the Old Testament gave an underlying assurance of immortality and held out the prospect of bodily resurrection. And you can't read all these verses here. What do you see? See the glory. Redeemer shall live and stand a lot of days upon the earth. All right. And all the resurrection. They believe in the resurrection. The way of life is above to the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath. Good. And then the prospect of bodily resurrection. Therefore my heart is glad, and my glory rejoices. My flesh also shall rest in hope. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption. Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. And there's resurrection there. And the dead men shall live, together with my dead body shall they arise. Awake and sing, ye that dwell in the dust, for the dew is as the dew of herbs, and the earth shall cast out the dead. We read that a couple of weeks ago. And then, of course, Daniel 12:2, also with John, I think it's 5. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, some to everlasting shame and contempt. And that would be, what was the other one? St. John, I believe. J 5:29. 5:29. And shall come forth they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. So, and we know it's not by works. There's no such thing as works. Mourning. Mourning might last 7 days, and you got all the instances where it lasts for 7 days, or even 70 days. And then from the first incident arose the place name Abel Mizraim. Abel the morning, Mizraim of Egypt. Genesis 50:11. And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, this is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians. Wherefore the name of it was called Abel Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan. They saw the mourning. This is 60. Let me see, 60. Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with the father blessed him, and Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. So there's 22 verses with this one here. This is Abel. You got Abel and Ebel. Mourning for the dead. They saw the mourning of the floor of Atad. Atad means a bramble or thorns. And they said, this is a grievous mourning. The Egyptians whereof called it Abel Mizraim. Abel, which is plain, and Mizraim, land of Copts, or Egypt, meadow of Egypt. But Abel, 58, Abel also could be this Baal, mourn or lament. So it could be mourn or lament, but they have here plain. But according to the context, it's a place of mourning. So I guess they would call it Abel Mizraim, mourning Egypt. Mourning in Egypt. All right. So we have TD. Is there TDNT here? No. Okay. So that was a quickie on that, and I think I'm gonna end it here because there's still a lot. There's still another one for mourning that we're gonna look at. I'm gonna look at it quick right here. 5594. 55. I can't get into it right now. This is Mourn. 1530. So that's the Safad. You saw that a couple of times when we were reading Safad. And that means mourn or lament. And there's another word with it. 4553. 4553, I think. Lamentation, yeah. So let me get this out of here. We'll get this out of here. And we'll throw this up here and this up here. And we'll get this out of here. And we'll start with that maybe next week. And it's the word mourn. Safad means mourn or lament, mourners. And this lamentation, put an M in there. They put a misped or mispaid mourning. And we'll look at this next week. We're out of time here right now. And I got to see a man about a horse anyway. So we thank you, God. Whew, for this. I just didn't think it was going to cover such little ground. I thought I was going to zip through this, but I guess not. There's still a lot to do on this. We didn't even really get into the sackcloth and other good stuff. We got time. We'll do it next week. We love you. Give you all the praise and glory. We do everything in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you, God. So let's see how we can get into that next week. Good stuff, man. I didn't think it was going to get into it that much. Let me stop recording. Thank you, God.